It's time to set our intentions, set our self-care, and find our focus. This is Mindful Mondays with Saharah Ali on KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh, yes, it is. And we are truly blessed to follow our blood moon, full moon werewolf weekend experience with an astrologer, yoga teacher, meditation instructor, life coach, sound bath expert, and sound healer, Saharah Ali, to get our minds together on a mindful Monday. Good morning, Saharah.
Good morning, Dominique, and good morning, KBLA family. Welcome to Mindful Monday, where we get our minds right for the week by setting positive intentions to honor our mind and body through meditation, prayer, and affirmation. As we step unapologetically into our week, being on purpose with faith, power, wisdom, and truth. This morning, I'd like to unpack, as Dominique says, the werewolf, blah, blah, blah. But it is it's a transformational energy of this full Pisces full moon lunar eclipse. It's shifting our consciousness, enhancing spiritual balance, aiding us to trust the unseen world, to thrive without fear. It's yielding opportunities to expand our inner vision, to trust the world behind our eyes, and inviting us to release what no longer serves our highest good. It's challenging us all to reframe our lives and look deeper within, breaking free from old patterns to embrace the unknown. It's a time to take inventory, to be honest with ourselves, to re-examine our intentions and expectations. And we benefit by knowing our minds are tools of survival, an instrument that allows us to understand, discover, and evolve. The call to action is to put our mind and will to focus on the manifestation of what we want, not what we don't want, and gain insight and power by reframing our emotions, but honoring our sense of self-worth. And under this Sun in Virgo full Pisces lunar eclipse, the question is, are we willing to live our full potential? You know, Virgo is an earth sign, and it is about order. Pisces is a water sign. It's about imagination, flowing like water, purifying our internal struggle, asking us to release our pain body story, to embrace truth, and to be unapologetic in our greatness during this time of spiritual evolution. The world is on fire, and we are evolving spiritually. And the celestial influence is asking us to change ourselves. And the question is, are you ready to pick up your power to be changed? Are you ready to pick up your power to be changed? So going forward, let's unpack the illusions. Let's call back our power, and let's lean into our Mindful Monday meditation. So mindfully bring your awareness to your breath right here, right now, and pause for a moment. Breathe, connecting to the light within you, opening the space to be on purpose in this moment, opening your heart to gain insight. Take this moment to be right here, right now, connecting with your breath and trusting your inner spirit. Just breathe and relax. Breathe and relax and open the space of love from the Most High, and call on your angels, call on your ancestors as we surrender in this moment all aspects of our lives to embrace our wholeness, to embrace the truth and the wisdom from the world behind our eyes. So just breathe, be right here, right now, ready to receive clarity of your purpose. Relax and allow your inner vision to match your outer vision, and open to unconditional love in the world behind your eyes. Just breathe, trusting your soul's wisdom and asking yourself, how can I level up to my fullest potential? How am I willing to be changed in this time of celestial influences opening the gates? Relax and listen. Listen to the voice inside. Listen to your heart. Listen to your inner wisdom. Trust your inner knowingness. Just breathe and relax and center yourself and receive. Receive whatever light or message that touches your heart and your mind in this moment. and allow that light to be covered in love. Allow that light to bring clarity and truth in your life. Breathe and be right here, right now, and willing to take out the trash, willing to release anything blocking your divine guidance and your highest good. Allow yourself to be committed to being on purpose, to be unapologetic, to be progressive in your consciousness. Just breathe. Breathe and let go. Breathing and promising yourself to welcome self-empowerment, to welcome your power that is innately yours. Relax and breathe and integrate your wholeness, trusting you are not alone, knowing that your angels and your ancestors step with you, walk with you, guide you every step of the way. And in this time of this lunar eclipse where there is clarity, where we can reach into the portal and pull out our power and reframe how we're willing to be changed, to be on purpose, and to be unapologetic. Now allow yourself to relax, quiet your mind, embrace the spirit of wisdom and truth, and open your heart and mind to our Mindful Monday affirmation for the week. Take a breath, relax. Today, I release the past, and with grace, I unapologetically accept the gift of my life's purpose, receptive to the Most High's will to be done. Today, I release the past, and with grace, I unapologetically accept the gift of my life's purpose, receptive to the Most High's will to be done. Take a breath, relax and breathe, and bring your awareness back. Bring your awareness to present time. And as you bring your awareness back to present time, open yourself to unapologetically embrace your purpose, to be receptive to the Most High's will to be done in your life, aligning to divine guidance, giving yourself to be unapologetic. Give yourself permission right here, right now, to be changed so that you can be the change agent to support the change that is needed at this time on this planet. Take a breath, anchoring yourself, ground yourself, bring your awareness back. Pull your feet on the floor, pull your hands wherever they are, and just embrace this moment of light and truth. Bringing your awareness back. Thank you, Dominique. Have a smiley, Miles, the 1580 KBLA family. Have an unapologetically mindful full moon lunar eclipse week, and be bold and be on purpose and open yourself to change.
When you say lunar eclipse week, that means that the energy of the full moon from an astrological standpoint and the energy of this eclipse lasts the whole week long?
Yes. Think about it. You look up in the sky, you see the full moon. So the moon has to wane back and disappear until it becomes a new moon. And so we have this magnetic pull. The moon is very powerful. It pulls the ocean, like the tides are high right now. Whenever there's a full moon, all the water on the earth, even in our bodies, are magnetized. They're at its zenith. It's at its most expression. And so this fluid that is flowing through our nervous system, this fluidity energetically and emotionally is present until we go down and down until we get a new moon. And a new moon is about new beginnings. A full moon is about the expression of whatever seeds that you planted that you yield your fruit. The lunar eclipse is very powerful because you have the earth coming between the sun and the moon, bringing this deep alignment with the sun, the moon, and the earth, magnetizing everything to its zenith. However, the effects happen depending on what sign the sun is in. So we have the sun in Virgo, and Virgo wants order. And then we have the moon in Pisces. A full moon is always, the sun is always opposite the moon. And so the moon is in Pisces, and Pisces is the dreamer. But Pisces is the sign of believing. And it wants us to release and let go and believe and embrace our purpose unapologetically. This is not a time for wishing. It's a time of action. It's a time to let go of what you don't want. And, you know, I'm always saying, talk about what you want, not what you don't want. Yeah, so this is the time to look at what you don't want. What is it that's no longer serving you? What is it that you need to let go of? What's been holding you back? This lunar eclipse is very powerful because it's supported by the feminine Orishas, Isis and Yamaya, and it's asking us, how are you showing up in your power? And how are you willing to give yourself permission to tell yourself the truth? Because that's Pisces. Pisces is two fish swimming in opposite directions, but it also rules the clarity within us, the world behind our eyes and the world in front of our eyes. And Virgo is about order. It's about the law. It's about being focused. It's the mother. It's the harvest. It's the heart. It is our home. It is our heart. It is the mother. And so this eclipse is inviting us to face truth and to release any beliefs that are not good enough for who we are, and asking us to look at the worth of our value, to look at our innate truth and to be in present time and to trust the wisdom behind your eyes and to let go of the chaos that is going on in the world and to be changed, to change yourself, to change your perspective, and to be on purpose with your gifts, and to know that your gifts are needed. And as we stand in our individual power, as we stand on purpose, living our gifts, we create a new community. We create a new paradigm. We create a new perspective of how to live, not just survive. And it's back to almost like the old ways. It's like if grandma had flour in the kitchen and sister had sugar and auntie had eggs, well, let's get together and make something.
Well, we got a lot to do, a lot to make, and I'm here for the order and the dreamer. So thank you for breaking that down, Saharah Ali. I know you had a sound bath this past weekend. You have one coming up?
I don't have another public sound bath until October, but everybody's welcome to come to the office and to be celebrated, and they can come to my Friday night class at Yoga House. I call it Happy Hour. It's a very therapeutic, transformational class of healing yourself, and that's what's on the table this week.
All right, and if you want to make an appointment for your private sound bath or healing or reading, whatever you're trying to do, call Elise at 213-628-9783, 213-628-9783. You can visit SaharahAli.com. Saharah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Phone lines are open. Sizzle, sizzle. If you got something to say, now's the time to do it. 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and you know where you're at. KBLA, Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dr. Nicolai Corte. Let's preserve Black land stories before they're lost forever. I want to personally invite you to be a part of something historic. As journalist in residence for the Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project, I've joined forces with powerhouse attorney and social justice champion George Fothery, the man who helped make history by delivering justice to the Bruce family in Manhattan Beach, securing the first known return of land unjustly taken from Black owners by a local government. That victory was monumental, but it was just the beginning. For generations, Black families have acquired land through grit, faith, and determination, only to lose it through violence, legal loopholes, forced sales, and systematic racism. What's been taken goes far beyond dirt and deeds. It's the erasure of wealth, identity, and legacy. That's why we've launched the Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project, a national effort to collect, protect, and preserve the stories of Black land lost before they're buried, forgotten, or erased altogether. Because there's power in telling Black stories, there is resistance in remembering, and there's justice in being seen and heard. This is where you come in. We're inviting you to be a part of this historic Black narrative archive. If you or someone you know has experienced land loss, displacement, or forced property sales, your story deserves to be heard and remembered. Your story belongs in this archive. Your truth matters not just to your family, but to our collective future. Visit blacklandlost.org today. Fill out our simple intake form and add your voice to the National Archive of Remembrance, Resilience, and Reckoning. Let's make these stories live on, not in whispers, but on the record. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dr. Nicolai Corte, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
See website for details. Bills Happen is not a lender and does not make credit decisions. Hey, bills happen. So when you need extra cash fast, go to billshappen.com. Have you been turned down? Are your credit cards maxed out? Do you have bad credit? Go to billshappen.com. All you need is a job and a checking account. You can find a lender and get up to $5,000 cash as early as tomorrow at billshappen.com. Billshappen.com is the smart way to get a personal lender now. So if you need extra money for car repairs, medical bills, family emergencies, whatever you need cash for, go to billshappen.com and you can get the money you need as soon as the next day, up to $5,000. At billshappen.com, our process is safe, secure, and all online. No one to deal with in person. And Bills Happen does not charge you any fees to use our service. It's easy. When you need a lender, just remember, when bills happen, go to billshappen.com. Billshappen.com for the cash you need now. Billshappen.com.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Molly Bell says she want to howl. Go ahead, howl at the moon. Get it all out. It's good for you. 800-920-1580. That's the number to call if you want to say a thing about a thing. So much is going on in Washington that it's easy to let other stories get by us. I've missed a lot of things just trying to keep up with this administration. I was sad to hear that the young man who was in the car with Michael Brown when he was killed by cops in 2014 is now dead. Dorian Johnson was shot. The police are saying it wasn't a cop that killed him, that he was shot, they're saying randomly, at 8:30 in the morning on Sunday, less than a mile from where Michael Brown was murdered. That's according to the Ferguson police. They are doing an investigation. They don't, they as far as I know, there's no suspects, but there's, but they're saying no officers were involved. So this is really sad. This is the young man that was with Brown. He was the one that testified that, that inspired hands up, don't shoot. But it's also, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm really not. But it is very alarming because now this is 7 young men who are linked to the protests in Ferguson who have been killed. And we're supposed to believe that this is all coincidence. Remember, two men have been found, activists, have been found dead inside burned cars. 3 others we're supposed to believe are suicide. And the other one we're supposed to believe was an overdose. He collapsed on a bus. And all of these are activists connected to the protests around the murder of Mike Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. And again, Ferguson police are saying there's no evidence that any of these deaths have anything to do with the protests. It's all just a big coincidence. Those 2 men that were burned up in those cars are still unsolved. So we're just supposed to believe it's all one big coincidence. DeAndre Joshua's body was shot in the head, and he was shot in the head, and then the car was burned. This is, he was 20 at the time. This is not far from where those protests were happening. Darren Seals, probably the most famous of those victims. He was comforting Michael Brown's mom the same night he was murdered, 29. His whole body was full of bullet holes, and he was also inside of a burning car. Marshawn McCarroll, they claim he shot himself outside the front door of the Ohio State Building. He was from Columbus, even though he had been an activist in Ferguson. Edward Crawford, they say, shot himself. Police claim that his friends say he was distraught over some personal problems. Remember, that was the young man who fired a tear gas canister back at the cops during Ferguson. Danye Jones found hanging from a tree in the backyard of his own house in St. Louis County. His mom says they lynched him. The police say it was a suicide. Bassem Masri, a Palestinian who was protesting in Ferguson and live streaming, is the one that was found on a bus, and they claimed he overdosed on fentanyl. And now, years later, the guy that was in the car with Michael Brown, his friend that witnessed this killing, this murder, has now been shot, supposedly by a random person, less than a mile from where Michael Brown died. Say their names. I really, it feels like a massive investigation is needed. Especially when you think about the fact that Ferguson, this was in 2014, is one of those places where we were told that the protesters had guns. Do you remember that? From time to time, they'll say this. Protesters had guns. But then there's never any follow-up. There's no charges, no investigation. The news media parrots what the cops are saying, that the protesters had guns. But we never see any evidence of it. We never see any follow-up. There's no prosecution. There's no charges. And that was the case in Ferguson. Protesters accused of having weaponry. We never see any follow-up. And now 7 young men are dead. Make it make sense. It doesn't to me. It just doesn't. And so if it is a coincidence, somebody needs to make sure that that's proven, because that's just not a coincidence I'm going to automatically believe. It's just not. You see the Trump yelling at that reporter yesterday? I laugh. I shouldn't laugh because it's actually pretty terrible. This was a black woman from NBC. She used to work for public radio, public TV. He told her basically to be quiet. He said she was fake news. And all she was asking about is why he was sending the military to Chicago. Yamiche Alcindor. She says, are you trying to go to war with Chicago? Well, he just renamed the Department of Defense back to the Department of War, and he's sending military troops into an American city. He said, when you say that, darling, that's fake news. Darling? Microaggression much? She tried to ask a follow-up question. He just went off on her. He told her to be quiet and listen. You don't listen. You never listen. That's why you're second rate. Imagine how insecure, how narcissistic you have to be to do that. You're the president. You're the leader of the so-called free world. You have the military. You're the commander-in-chief. You've got the Secret Service. And you feel the need to go off on a black woman and tell her she's second rate and that she doesn't listen and call her darling. You got to be deeply insecure and or narcissistic to do that. The power differential is insane. Insane. Billionaire, white guy, also happens to be president of the United States, commander-in-chief. Black woman, reporter. It's just a window inside of a very twisted mentality. 800-920-1580, that's the number if you got something to say. We've got news, traffic, and sports right now, and then more, only on Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. ICE agents were spotted near Brentwood and Hempstead schools last week in New York, sparking fear among families. Here's Ahmad Perez with the group I Slip Forward.
And this is the first time that we've ever seen them adjacent to a school. Kids are wondering, is that my parent next? Am I okay when I leave this building at the end of the day?
One parent was reportedly arrested near Brentwood High School. School officials say ICE wasn't on school grounds, but the reason for their presence remains unclear. Black Maryland Governor Wes Moore says he's not running for president in 2028. On NBC's Meet the Press, Moore said he's focused on serving his state and hopes to earn a second term as governor. And Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, Sue Bird, and Maya Moore were inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame Saturday. Anthony and Howard also entered as part of the gold medal-winning 2008 Redeem Team alongside LeBron, Wade, and Kobe. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Still got those annoying mosquitoes, ants, crickets, and creepy spiders? Get them out for good. Call legendary Dewey Pest and Termite Control. Family run since 1929. Get a free inspection and evaluation at DeweyPest.com. That's DeweyPest.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
It was a good first week of the regular season for both of LA's NFL teams. The Chargers beat Kansas City Friday night in Brazil. The Rams beat Houston 14-9 in their season opener at SoFi Stadium. The Rams defense kept Houston out of the end zone. All of Houston's points came on field goals. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford was 21 of 29 for 245 yards and a touchdown. Stafford became the 10th quarterback in NFL history to reach 60,000 passing yards. The LA Sparks kept their WNBA playoff hopes alive with a 91-77 win over the Dallas Wings. The Sparks have 2 games remaining to pass the Seattle Storm for the 8th and final playoff spot. Seattle was a game and a half ahead of the Sparks. The Dodgers snapped a 5-game losing streak with a 5-2 win at Baltimore. The Dodgers are back home tonight against Colorado. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things. Like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Thinking about going electric? Now is the perfect time. Electric vehicles cost less to run, don't need gas, and need fewer repairs than gas-powered cars. You can also save with federal and state tax credits, and in some areas, qualify for rebates on home charging stations. To learn more, visit www.breathesocal.org. That's www.breathesocal.org.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel leaders least liked to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at quinemanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Be heard. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back. 800-920-1580, like I said, or just hop into YouTube on KBLA 1580 and you can put a comment in the comment section. I will see it. Here's a little palate refresher for you, KBLA delegation. A federal appeals court has upheld that $83 million jury award against President Trump for the defamation of writer E. Jean Carroll back in 2019. Finally, something sticks. This is after she accused him of rape, and then, of course, he was found liable for that rape. Sexual abuse. It falls short of the New York City definition of race because he penetrated her with the wrong object. Let me put it that way. The court rejected the argument that he had immunity per the Supreme Court, and the 3-judge panel upheld that $83.3 million. So, yes, he has to pay it. This is because after he lost, he kept talking smack about her. And before he lost, he was talking smack about her. He did it some more after he lost. And that is because the biggest chunk of that money is because it says he's accused of acting with malice, which clearly he did. So there's a little happy nugget for your Monday morning. Somebody trying to hold this man accountable for something. Meanwhile, he's asking his personal valets, the U.S. Supreme Court, to freeze billions of dollars in foreign aid. He's already frozen it. Then he was ruled that he wasn't supposed to do it. Now he's trying to take it all the way to the extreme court. And he's made an emergency filing this morning because the federal appeals court would not block the preliminary injunction, meaning that they had to go ahead and spend that money for food and medicine and development assistance to under-resourced countries. And we know that the suffering has already started from that decision. We know that people have already died as a result of that decision. So they no longer have their HIV medications or they don't have food, et cetera, et cetera. The thought is, the analysis seem to show that if this stands, thousands and thousands of people will die, but still they are in court trying to justify this $430 billion in federal spending that is now on hold. What appears to be a violation of the Constitution because Congress has the power of the purse. Congress already allocated those funds, so you don't get to just take them. And aid groups, global health groups are saying the president just can't freeze foreign aid when those cuts would bring about a humanitarian disaster. Humanitarian disaster is now unfolding. So this morning, the president is asking for this to go all the way to the Supreme Court. And I think we kind of know how that's going to go. So many of these things are playing out in the court, and we know the courts are stacked in his advantage. However, some judges continue to try to follow the Constitution and the law, and that's a good thing. And so let's let's celebrate those wins and hopefully embolden those judges who are still willing to do their job for a job well done. The Surgeon General of the state of Florida, Joseph Ladapo. Okay, what is going on right now? They said that they're going to remove vaccine mandates. Actually, all that vaccine mandates, not just COVID, but all vaccine mandates. They're removing them. And now the Surgeon General, who is black. Now I sound like BIN News. Who is black? Anyway, he's admitting they did zero data analysis about what might happen if they took away vaccines. All vaccines. They're just willy-nilly. Okay, taking this away. No worries. Which is crazy. Florida is going to be the first state to end all vaccine mandates. Remember, this is a guy who was a big COVID skeptic, and that's part of why he got that love within MAGA world. 79% of Americans support vaccine mandates for children in public school. President Trump supposedly does. But in Florida, it looks like they're out of here. With no study, no data, let's just see how many kids die. Center for Disease Control says those vaccines prevent about 4 million deaths every year. We're talking about kids here. But I guess we're just going to see. Hey, data? What data? Science? What science? Let's go to Paul calling us from L.A. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Dominique. How are you doing today?
I'm blessed. How are you?
I'm blessed. I want to definitely hop in on the conversation. I don't know if you were aware or saw that over the weekend there was these town halls in Arkansas and Nebraska.
Yeah.
So a bunch of white farmers are now coming together and basically screaming that they're going to lose their farmland and everything, and they need now Donald Trump, again, like he did his previous administration when he cut them $28 billion, for those that don't know. They need another check from the government. So then my response to these people is, you want socialism. It's amazing to me because everything that's transpiring right now, we told you was going to happen. On this previous jobs report that happened for August, 16 to 24-year-olds skyrocketed in unemployment. It jumped to 10.5%. Black unemployment, black women 7.8%, black men 7%, which is doubled than our white counterparts. So then again, I come to people and say, they don't work hard to win your vote. They put money in so you don't go vote. In every election, for those people that say, let it all burn down, who do you think is going to be first on the menu? These troops that they're marshaling in all these cities that are predominantly black. Who does that impact? I tell people this all the time. Regardless if you believe it or not, that microphone you're on, Dominique, that shirt you're wearing, that car you drive, that job you work at, those streets you drive on, that sidewalk, that local school, you live politics.
That's right.
And to not be engaged.
And when you look at these town halls, it looks to me like Trump voters as far as the eye can see, right? These are white men, middle-aged mostly, some young, but mostly middle-aged. And they're FAFO voters as far as I'm concerned.
Yes. And you know what's interesting about it is they are okay with, remember, Johnson said, as long as you have the poorest white believing they're better than the colored person, the black person, you can basically rob them from their pockets. You and Jasmine last hour spoke about the propaganda machine. See, Fox News only makes up 3 million viewers tops. People don't look at mainstream media like that anymore. However, that voting block that they get is age 60 to 70-year-olds, the boomer generation. And you know what they do every election? They vote. This previous election, 90 million people stayed home. 90 million. That's not all voting suppression.
No,
you know what that is?
not.
That's poor whites and people of color that are directly dealing with this administration right now, because all the election is people voting for how resources, your tax dollars, are allocated. It's just that simple.
Yeah. Well, a lot of great points you made there, Paul. I mean, it does come down to voting. It does come down to education. But, of course, I think about the black farmers when Biden passed his budget and he had help for black farmers who have been denied for generations, and how Republicans shut it down because they called it affirmative action or whatever. They called it racially preferential and shut it down. And that amount of money that was supposed to go to those black farmers shrank, and then when they finally got it, all lives mattered. It was for everybody. So I don't have a lot of sympathy for these folks. These folks now, like you said, they want socialism. I have sympathy because I understand what they're up against. But you voted for this oligarchy. You voted for this this abandonment of the working class and the poor. That's what you signed up for. And you're right, a lot of people stayed home, but I mean, look, I'm not one of those people that says that if you voted for Jill Stein, rolls eyes, or if you voted for Weston and Abdullah, that you voted for Trump. But I will say that if you stayed your butt home, that was a vote for Trump. And so that's why, I have less sympathy. I'm not gleeful about this FAFO moment, not at all. If farmers fail, we don't have food. That's a problem. But it is logical.
Yes, but remember, Dominique, those programs that they deem, those social programs that you need to live on, they were those subsidies they were getting for their crops. That's where their money was coming from. See, all they have to ever do is come with a term that derogatory towards black people and blame black people. And people fall for it every single time. Last administration, this is taking parties out of it. I don't care. I don't want a friend. I want representatives, and I want to use you for every ounce that you can get in resource to my community, for my children. The medical centers that are going to leave predominantly black communities, that impacts us, Dominique.
Yeah.
The food that's not going to be nourished to our children, the money that's being pulled from education, that's going to impact our children, Dominique.
It's already. It's already. And I mean, these farmers are talking about they need help. And what was one of the aid package cuts was to farmers because they're selling their food to the government to ship to Africa and other places where people are starving. We're not doing that anymore. That's just one season. That's going to crop up every season.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
You got to follow the dots. These things are connected.
It is. And they play, and that's where the craziest part about it is how they control the algorithms and everything. But like I said, we need to be focused on, if we're looking for solutions, bottom up, not top down. Elections aren't every 4 years. They're every 2 years. And then sometimes, like this year in California, we have a special election. You need to show up for everything because you do care how your tax dollars that are coming out your check, regardless of how you feel, is allocated and where it goes. Because if you don't pay attention to it, they're voting. And when gentrification comes and they come into our communities, they're not sending their kids to those local schools. They're still going to private schools. And a matter of fact, they're pricing you out. So I implore our people to get engaged.
Yeah.
Because we could technically, Dominique, and I'm going to leave it here because I know you have callers. We could take regardless, we have a two-party system right now. We are such a strong voting bloc when we are engaged that we could take the party. The problem is we are very flimsy with our voting block, and almost half of us don't vote. That's not all voting suppression. That's just a lot of people that aren't civically engaged, regardless of not understanding that you live politics.
Yeah, it's well said. Appreciate the call, Paul. It's always good to hear from you. Paul called me at 800-920-1580. I invite you to do the same. We've got a lot to talk about. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Hi, I'm LA City Councilmember Curran Price, inviting you to the 30th anniversary of the Central Avenue Jazz Festival, Saturday, September the 20th, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. We've got 4 pavilions, 3 stages of live music, plus food, fun, and a marketplace all along historic Central Avenue between MLK Boulevard and Vernon Ave. Our featured acts this year are Gregory Porter, Pancho Sanchez, and Jasmine Horn at the 30th anniversary of the Central Avenue Jazz Festival, Saturday, September 20th, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. along Central Avenue between MLK Boulevard and Vernon Avenue. Come out and bring the whole family because this legendary celebration is free. For more information, go to centralavjazzfest.com. I'm LA Councilmember Curran Price, and I absolutely approve this message.
Are you ready to be a part of the conversation that will help shape our nation's future? Get ready to join us for the Left Coast Forum, Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech, where progressive voices will come together to tackle the issues that matter most to working families across Los Angeles and beyond. From economic justice to climate action, from healthcare to housing, we're bringing together the brightest minds and most passionate advocates for real solutions and real change. With workshops, 2 major keynote addresses, and a closing reception with great music and good food. It's the Left Coast Forum, where your voice matters and your ideas take action. Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. Brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and the LA Progressive. The future won't wait, and neither should you. Mark your calendar now to be there and be heard. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
You are, and I'm absolutely so glad that you are here. I guess I can take this moment to make a little announcement. The Los Angeles Urban League is having their State of Black LA at USC on the 16th of October. And that's just about a month away. It'll be here before we know it. And I will be moderating one of their panels. They have a panel on health, one of my most favorite pressing topics. And so I'll be moderating that. If you would like to go, you can go to the LA Urban League website and register. It's going to be free. I'll have more info for you as we get closer, but wanted to give the KBLA delegation the heads up because typically, even though that thing is free, it sells out, which means you can't get in. So I want you to have that early heads up about that. And hopefully you'll be there. I'd love to see you there at the State of Black LA. So apparently the postal traffic in the U.S. is down 80%, which is insane. That's just like a precipitous drop. Why is that? Because of tariffs. The global postal network, as they say, come to nearly a halt, according to the Universal Postal Union of the UN, because there were trade exemptions for packages of less than $800 to be exempt from tariffs. Well, that exemption ended, and the postal business dropped 80%. I'm sure that's probably one of the goals, because this administration from the last time seems to be trying to eliminate the post office altogether. I used to think they just wanted to privatize it, but it seems like the real goal is just to eliminate it, to end it. And reducing traffic by 80%, probably do that. I think it's a terrible idea. Not only are there good union jobs like the one my granddad had or the one Molly Bell had that have lifted families out of poverty into the middle class, we rely on the post office for an inexpensive way to move things around the country, for reliability in some cities and small towns especially. The post office is like a bank for people who are unbanked. It's where they go get their passports. It's where you can get money orders. For people, a lot of folks don't have a bank account. They are either on check systems or they can't afford to maintain a bank. So that's crazy. And keeping an eye on it, because I just want us to realize and understand which one of the most beloved agencies in the nation is the post office. The fact that they're, in danger by this administration in what is an intentional defunding and undermining of the Postal Service. Did I mention that a court upheld the verdict against the judgment, I should say, against Trump to the tune of $83 million? Did I mention that? Yeah, we gotta celebrate the small victories. I mean, $83 million is not that small. But I think what's really important about it is that the judge said presidential immunity does not apply to you sexually harassing, assaulting, and defaming people back in the day or ever. Doesn't apply. There's no presidential immunity on old rape charges and defamation charges. And for once, for one small moment, he has some consequences for his actions. And I'm here for that. I'm actually very, very happy about that. Because right now we're in this place where lying, cheating, stealing, bombing. I mean, we're bombing Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's part of the United States. What is actually happening right now? That all of these things seem to be going on with no consequences is my issue. And so I think returning to an era of accountability and relative truth-telling is going to require real-world consequences for doing the opposite. And this is one small example of that. Got a special guest joining me in studio next hour. Looking forward to the conversation with Brooklyn Cliff Jones. We're talking hip-hop. We're talking the culture. We're talking resistance. All that straight ahead on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. ICE agents were spotted near Brentwood and Hempstead schools last week in New York, sparking fear among families. Here's Ahmad Perez with the group I Slip Forward.
And this is the first time that we've